I came from the mud. There's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree. There's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon. They sing on a sleepless night. Try to catch me howling at the moon.
Let's go, Jeff.
Here we go. We're episode 4 of Full Court Press, also known as FCP on YSN. You can follow us on Twitter at FCPYSN or on Facebook at Jeff Rasile.
Yeah, Jeff Rasile. You have a little FCP logo next to your name on that one.
Right.
You actually have 2 Facebook accounts, but the one that we want you to talk to.
Yeah, because the other one has nothing.
No.
There's no picture, nothing.
No.
Well, Brian, what are you drinking tonight?
Tonight's a special night, because I'm going back to my roots tonight, and I have the dark stuff. I have Guinness Stout. We talked about it the last episode with the stout beer. Was it the last episode? Maybe the one before.
Last episode.
Yeah, we talked about stout beer. Guinness is where it originated. 1759, Dublin, Ireland. Arthur Guinness signed a lease for 9,000 years with the city to have his St. James Gate Brewery right there in Guinness. So obviously they don't make beer there.
And that's your favorite beer?
It's my favorite beer. I did it for a couple reasons tonight. One, to talk a little bit about my Irish heritage and talk about stout beer and how much I like that. But the other reason I did it is because I wanted a cool background to the Pens logo, and the Pens start their playoff series this weekend. So we're going to beat Montreal. Let's go Pens. That's why we're here tonight with Guinness. And it's the perfect beer for the perfect night. And go Pens.
Okay. All right. Well, here we go.
You asked.
Yeah, I did. So here we go. We've got... We got to introduce our new FCP team members.
Yeah, we have new team members. Let's talk a little bit about our... I think it's time to cut.
So we got Cam Carson.
We're cutting Cam.
We're cutting him.
Yeah.
It's time for him to go.
I wrote up the cut sheet. I'm going to evaluate him. I think we should have an outgoing interview, maybe better ourselves, talk a little bit.
Typically for a player, we'd sit him down in the coach's office and we'd say, hey, listen, these are things you're doing wrong. Maybe we need to sit down with Cam.
No, I think clearly we gave Cam enough rope.
He's just done?
Yeah, he's done. He's done.
Cam will never make it to the majors.
Majors? Where's he working now? Shop and Save, probably.
Cam's going to be a teacher. Leave Cam alone.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Yeah.
Good luck, Cam, but you're not on the roster anymore. Second pick, Donnie Riccatelli. Great.
Yeah,
captain. He's our franchise.
He's on Facebook.
He's our franchise.
Yeah, he comments on everything we do.
He's our cornerstone of how we're moving forward. So we're happy with Donnie. Third pick, Paulo. We went young again.
Well, Paulo begged. He begged for his position. He guaranteed us if we brought him on the show that he alone would bring 4,000 views.
And between the second episode and the third episode, we actually went down a couple hundred.
I know. So we're the common denominator.
Yeah, we're always going to be right.
So they're good. So we bring Paulo on and we drop.
Yeah.
So it's got to be Paulo.
It's Paulo's fault, and
kind of like the JV basketball team,
where he was terrible last year.
Well, clearly, win. Boom.
I feel like as an older person at this point, as a mentor in coaching, that I want to pick the younger people up. Mm-hmm. And I felt like we were doing that for Paulo, but at some point he's going to have to do it on his own. And if he can't produce, he can't produce.
We'll see what he does with this. I mean, we'll see. It's only been a couple weeks. We'll give him a shot here.
Yeah, for sure.
If he can't, then he's going to be off. He's going to be with Cam.
He's going to be with Cam, and if it sets the trend that we have to just have older people as our roster, we'll just have older people as a roster. And I don't want to preface our next two. roster invitees as older people. I don't want to do that. I think that's a bad road to go down.
Young ladies.
We have some young
We
ladies.
have 2 young ladies.
We wanted to diversify our roster. We thought we needed a little bit of a female presence on the FCP roster, and I think we picked 2 good ones.
I agree.
Right.
Are we ready to introduce them?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
You got it.
All right. We are bringing in our 2 biggest fans that we've ever had for a couple decades now, right? At least maybe 3 decades in some cases.
3 decades.
2 and a half?
3 decades, maybe.
Pretty close. 2 and a half. We have your wife, the great Jackie Hannon Rasile, and my wife, the great Wendy Hill Higgins. Come on in. We're going to move us around because we're going to interview you guys a little bit. So Jeff's going to sit next to me, and you guys can sit. First of all,
What are they drinking?
I don't know. They popped something while we were down here doing...
Yeah, we were
Setting up.
doing some filming, and next thing I know is they come down with their wine,
Moscato wine, yeah.
Moscato wine. Jackie, do you drink Moscato a lot?
Yes, I do.
All right, how nervous are you right now, or is this pretty much an easy thing for you? I mean,
Why should we be nervous?
because this is a lot of pressure to be on the FCP roster.
You want me on the roster, you realize I'm not on social media at all.
Well, it can't be any worse than Paulo. I mean, Paulo guaranteed us that he had 800 Twitter followers, and I don't think one of those people watched our show.
Or followed us.
Yeah.
What's your demographic you're going for here?
Anybody that's willing to click on our show and
watch.
view it.
You don't like to pigeonhole your demographic.
Right.
That's right. We're across the board.
So let's ask this question. How big of an honor is it to be on the FCP team?
Go ahead, Wendy. I'm going to take that one first.
An honor? I don't know. This is kind of like going out to dinner with the 4 of us.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
normal for you.
Just normal.
You guys are
we were
used
on
to
the
being-
team from the beginning. We
Right.
didn't realize
Yeah,
we
but
had
there's
to
a
have
difference.
spot
Like, you guys
here.
were supporters from the beginning.
Right.
This is
Yeah.
official now.
It's a great honor to be
Like,
here.
going out to dinner with us is
Absolutely.
prestigious, but this takes it to
Oh.
a whole nother level.
Okay.
You guys, tell us about yourselves. The viewers don't know. Jackie, what do you do?
Oh my God, Jeff. Okay. I'm not sure people really care, but
They do.
yes, I'm
No, they
married
do.
to Jeff Rasile.
Which is probably
Which is-
the most important thing.
Yes, it is.
Very important.
It is. I love Jeff. I work as a school counselor at Champion Schools. We've got 3 children, and I'm here to support FCP.
There you go. Wendy?
Well, I'm married to Brian. I'm also a school teacher, and I'm here to support FCP.
So we talked about like some of the things we wanted to ask you, and I know we're kind of blindsiding you here a little bit. So how hard is it for you guys as parents versus as the wives of coaches when you watch a basketball game? Is it easier to watch your kids, or was it easier when the kids weren't involved?
Well, Jeff's been doing this for a long time, and for me, it was much more difficult the last few years in the sense that I'm watching my child play, I'm watching him coach, and just the nerves and everything that goes with it. There were some challenges. It was great, but yet just the worry, I think for me was a lot. So the last 4 years were like, oh my gosh, it was a challenge.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think over the years, the kids become our kids because we learn so much about them through you. So when I'm at the game, I'm rooting for the kids as if they're my own because I've, got to know them so much through you guys.
What about when it became Parker, though? How difficult was that for you?
It wasn't.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
Mama Bear comes out when Parker gets hit. I've seen it. We talk about hockey all the time with Brennan. There's been times where Wendy, who's really reserved, is standing up with her fists out, saying, "You hit my kid." It's a 10-year-old hit him, and he's like, "You hit my kid."
Right.
So don't.
Well,
It wasn't
Mama
that.
Bear does come
Yeah,
out,
for sure.
but it doesn't really have anything to do with you guys coaching. I feel more comfortable with you guys coaching.
Yeah.
I don't think it. Yeah, I don't know any.
So
different.
maybe you're saying more just being the parent
Mhm.
was more challenging than just
I think being
a coach's wife.
Yeah.
right. I think being a teacher parent is much more difficult than being a coach's wife parent spectator.
Really?
Interesting.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
Are there any moments that you guys can remember from our coaching career? Like, great moments, not the bad moments.
No, let's talk about the bad moments
All
too.
right, all right.
Go
We need to
great
talk about
first.
good, too.
Let's-
Yeah, what was the
what
best?
was-
What
What do you? Yeah, what was the best?
Oh, well, there's been lots of good ones,
Okay.
but especially when you win.
Yeah.
Every time we win.
We
you
won a
know,
lot.
Some of the district championships.
Oh, absolutely.
Were just,
Struthers.
oh, yeah. That was just so much fun. You know, all that work.
It was nice that we topped it off with our kids winning it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That's crazy. That takes me back to sitting around the table at Tom's wedding, and we were expecting, and you were expecting, and neither of us knew, and then we were like, and then here we are, and our kids
Yeah.
grew up together and played all the sports together,
Yeah.
and went to school together, and graduated, and
Yeah.
here you guys are, and
We're doing FCP now.
right.
We're so
We're
successful.
famous.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you a little nervous that, like, the more famous we become because of our show, that there's a chance we might leave you?
I don't think we have to worry about that.
No, I'm not worried
No.
at all.
All right. Talking about coaching, is there any experiences that you walked away from the
Yeah,
gym
you
was like,
frowned.
ooh, Jeff probably shouldn't have done that, or Brian shouldn't have done that? You can be honest.
Are there any times on FCP where you thought they
think-
shouldn't have done that?
Here's a good one. During a 6th grade basketball game, Parker was a 5th grader playing up into 6th grade. I didn't really attack, but I got into a verbal altercation with a grandfather because he was speaking badly of you and your behavior at the basketball game on a Friday night, and we were Saturday playing 5th and 6th grade
Because
basketball.
Zach didn't play.
No.
on
And
that
I was
team.
defending you, and I was saying, you don't know Jeff. He does not talk badly to the kids.
Yeah.
He's rooting for them. And that has stuck with me. I was like, oh, I texted him his grandfather.
Yeah.
So that's one. That's
Yeah.
not something I'm proud of, but
No, that was good, Wendy. You did a
Yeah.
good job.
Well, Jeff, everybody knows how intense you are, and you get on the refs sometimes, and so every game, you just never know how it's going to go. And Brian, even though you're laid back,
I
you
pop
can-
off every
oh
once
yeah,
in a
you're
while.
pretty witty,
yeah.
and you come at them. So you just every game was, you just never know what was going to happen.
Jackie, I know we've talked about this before. You weren't real wild about the opposing fans like chanting at Zach. You did not like that. I didn't care as much. You did not like it.
Well, listen, kids are going to say things. I'm okay with some of the chanting that was going on. Some of it I thought would cross the line, like Western Reserve chanting "Daddy's Girl."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you do that.
Right.
I thought that was wrong, but that's more on the adults to
Right,
step
right,
in
the
and tell the
administration.
students. Yeah.
I think
So
I
Shame
think
on
I
Western Reserve.
spoke with a parent at a school you speak of often because she was upset with Zach doing the 3, and she thought that he was doing something else. And
The Sebring?
that was ice in your veins.
Oh, that was ice
Ice in the veins. Yeah, she was totally wrong. She said Zach flipped off the
Right.
crowd.
Right.
And the whole thing of that story is
Yes.
they chanted at Zach
Yeah.
the whole game.
Right.
Right.
Overrated.
Right.
You know, all this stuff. And then Zach torched them in the 4th quarter and pointed and said, ice
For 2
in my
seconds.
veins. And
Not even.
the
yeah.
school board member, I think her last name is Flowers, came to us at the end and basically
Maybe
was
that
wrong.
was her name. We're not real sure.
She was wrong, and
Yeah.
she attacked us at our locker room.
Yeah.
And she was saying number 1 did this, like she knew number 1 was my son. Like, so let's not play games. And I said he didn't flip off the crowd. She was wrong. And then she came out later on. Let's just put it all out there. She came out later on and said she didn't like the way she didn't. She then realized Zach didn't do it,
Oh.
but she was upset with the way I talked to her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So she's
self-respect-
allowed to make accusations,
Yeah.
and but God forbid I say
Right.
you're wrong.
Right.
Yeah, we love Sebring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Mama Bear comes out and defending you guys as well as the kids. Yeah.
Speaking of that, Jackie, talking a little bit about your history. You're a phenomenal basketball player here at McDonald. And was it hard? You live in McDonald, just coaching here. Your son's playing here. How hard is it for you to be in the community when all this is going on? I know we're past it now and Zach's moving on, but during that, was it ever a hard time for you? Just, you go outside, you see somebody that maybe didn't like Jeff, or you were at Dollar General and you heard someone say something. I mean, how hard was that for you?
I've had a wonderful experience, living here overall. However, with coaching, you know that not everybody's going to like all the decisions that you make.
Yeah,
Right.
especially
And
Jeff.
so- right.
And,
well,
and he's so blunt with people.
right. He's direct, and people usually love him or hate him. Right. It's
Most people love me.
Yes. Most people love you.
96%.
I know some people and players have been, they didn't like some of the decisions, or they've said things like a grandparent was saying something
Right.
at a 5th grade game. So yeah, it makes it really challenging, because if I know that you don't like how he coaches or something he said, no problem, but there's no reason to have any interaction, and it's a little uncomfortable,
Right.
because it's uncomfortable.
Well, I lost some friendships. I was pretty much kicked out of a book club because somebody's child didn't make a team, and that was somehow directed at me.
Mm-hmm.
That's
it
true.
was my responsibility.
You took the fall. You took the fall for it.
Yeah, that's the shame of, you know, being a coach and having a family, and you know, sometimes you make hard decisions, and if you live in the community, then you're gonna catch some.
Yeah.
heat.
For the record, I have no idea with who makes or does not make the basketball team.
Wendy, we don't ask Wendy for her advice when we make cuts.
Just to clarify, I was a cheerleader in high school, not a basketball player.
Well, on the bright
I
side,
do
let's
think
let's
cheerleader,
let's put a
not
happy
the basketball
yeah
player.
let's put a happy spin on this. We have a great player, we have a great cheerleader, we have two beautiful women that are now on the FCP roster. Maybe we'll put you guys on posters or something.
Lucky
like that.
women.
Finally made the roster.
Oh, yay.
Very-
Lucky women.
I made it.
They've made the roster.
That's right.
They're married to us. Now, because of all our fame, just final question is there anything that you guys feel like you're going to have to change because
Right.
we're so famous?
Is this drawing viewers in?
Yes. Yes.
Do people care?
That's it for. You guys are supposed to play along when we say how famous we are. That's it for the FCP roster, and we
Yeah.
want to thank Wendy and Jackie for
Our
being on
biggest
it.
supporters.
You know, Jackie, you're gonna have to go on Twitter now, and you're gonna have to get a Facebook account just to say
Am I?
you're on the FCP. Yes,
I've
you are.
avoided it for this long.
We need it, especially after what Paulo did to us.
Paula was a disappointment.
Our first interview is coming up next, so we have somebody that you guys know. We have
Jimmy
French.
Francicelli,
Yep.
the new McDonald basketball coach. You guys have gotten to know him over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to say about Jimmy?
I wish him the best. He's a great guy. I hope that he enjoys it, and I know he'll do well.
Yeah, for sure.
He's great for the kids.
Yeah.
All righty.
All right, thanks,
All right,
guys.
thanks.
Jimmy's
Love
up next.
you.
Here we go. We've got our tip-off interview. We got Jimmy Francicelli, the new basketball coach at McDonald. Jimmy, it's great having you on the show. You were with us for a couple years, and you know we were thankful that you were able to get the job. How'd the summer go with the kids?
Hey, before I start talking about
Yeah.
that, you lost a small child. I mean, how much weight did you lose in the last time I saw you?
I was at, my highest was 207.
Oh my
and now I'm
gosh.
about 178.
You look great,
Wow.
man.
I appreciate it. I do. And when we're getting into this, I appreciate you guys. You know that.
Yeah.
Working with you guys was a blessing.
Well,
It
we'll
really
talk
was.
about that later. You don't have to kiss our
Kiss
butt
up
yet.
already.
All right, go ahead. Let's go.
Yeah, we had two ladies who were kissing up to us in
Earlier.
the last episode.
They've done that
so-
all their lives, though.
They have.
I mean,
Well, they had to figure out a way of getting us. Unfortunately, so. Jimmy, how'd the summer go for you?
You know, surprisingly, it was great. It really was. Getting to know these guys, it was a different. You know, in the past, it's always about shootouts and
Right.
leagues and scrimmages, and it was just a chance for me to get to know these guys on a personal basis. And you know, with some guys coming in from football and the transfers
Right.
and things like that, it's been a chance for me to get my foot in the door there.
Were you guys able to have any scrimmages at all against other teams?
No.
Okay.
So there was nothing. First 2 weeks was just working out the guys, and then the last couple weeks, 3-4 weeks, we've been able to go up and down against our own guys and things like that. It's been good. It's been really good, honestly.
So we're at the end of July now. The rules have changed.
Yes.
Usually August is completely shut down, but this year you are allowed to do some things in August, right?
Yes. So we had taken the last week off here. The football players are kind of going,
Sure.
towards their football way here, August 1st date. We will be back in the gym this week, probably 3 days, 4 days a week. Basketball guys doing some drills, getting ready to go here.
What's the biggest? You've been a head coach before. You were the head coach at Struthers for how many years?
4.
4 years, and then even before that, you were a head coach.
I was at a young age, for 2 years in Toronto, Ohio. I was the head coach.
On the
Okay.
river.
On the river, baby.
So what's the biggest transition from being an assistant to being a head coach?
You know, I tell people the day-to-day operations, honestly, and we've
Yeah,
talked
right,
about that.
right.
I mean, it's more of the fundraising and the parents and when I was an assistant coach with you, I just got to coach.
You show
Right.
up.
I showed up and coached it.
Yep.
And it
It's
was
90% coaching as an
absolutely.
assistant, 10% everything else.
Yeah,
As a
absolutely.
head coach,
Oh man,
50-50.
yeah, you're talking. I mean, it's we need new jerseys, shorts,
Right.
stuff like that, fundraising here or there. I mean, it's a whole different ball game than just coming to practice every day. And listen, those 2 years for me were great. I was able to slow down my life a little bit and get everything back in order, and it was a blessing. It really was.
So prior to McDonald, you were the head coach at Struthers. Now you grew up in Struthers.
Yes, and I got to play for Coach Fioline, Joe
Right,
Fioline.
you
and-
talk about
yeah,
that a lot.
Oh yeah, a mentor of mine and good friend. Talk to him every day, honestly.
Joe's the best.
Oh God, he really is. He really is
Yeah.
such a great guy, and him being at Mount Union, and we got Braden at Mount Union.
Right.
It's been it's been able to keep that going. But yeah, Struthers was a dream of mine. I mean, I teach there, still teach there. Just moving to 8th grade math, but we'll get into that now. So when at the end of Struthers, there's a lot of rumors out there about why I left and all that stuff. So we can straighten it out right now.
Yeah, it's up to you.
Go ahead.
You want to talk about it? Let's talk about it.
It wasn't. I resigned on my own. I did. I had some personal problems, gambling. So that's where I made the decision. And my family, my kids, my wife, my parents meant more to me than anything.
Absolutely.
So that's where it came. I had to make that decision.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know you and I were friends prior to you coming to McDonald's.
Oh yeah.
We talked a lot on the phone and went over games and everything else.
Yeah, and
strategy.
I tell people all the time, listen, when I got the job at Struthers, you were one of the first people I reached out to.
Mhm.
I wanted to learn the press. I came and watched. You gave me notes. We did all kind of stuff together. So yeah, people think like, when I left Struthers, my ultimate with my family and that was I was going to take a break.
Mhm.
I
You
really
needed
was.
to step
Yeah,
back.
I needed to step
You needed
back.
to
We
reevaluate
talked
where you
about
were.
you and I spent a good night talking about that because I said, Jimmy, listen, this position's always available to you at McDonald's. Are you ready for this though? And we talked about that.
Yeah, and it was something that I had to talk to my wife, and they were so supportive. They really have been. She could easily have thrown me to the curb there with some of the stuff that I did. Believe me, and I lost some friends along the way. It is what it is, though.
Yeah.
It really is.
One of the things that I've always been impressed with you, though, about that and that part of your life is you've been open about it.
Yeah.
You talked about how you transitioned and how you found religion,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
I mean, or
Absolutely.
more than you did prior to that.
Yeah. Listen,
you know?
I had a friend, Brant Bolin. I'll even say his name. That when he came and seen me when I was in there, and he said, "I just need you to come to this church with me one night.
Yeah.
One night, that's all I need."
Yeah.
And it really did change my outlook on everything.
Right.
More of, I really needed to step up and be a bigger part of my family. For my parents' sake, for my wife, for my kids. Those are the main things that matter. And coming with you guys for 2 years, I know you guys don't like to hear the word, but I considered you guys family.
Yeah.
So it was great. It really
Yeah.
was. And to be a part of McDonald has been a huge blessing for us.
Do you think you could have continued at Struthers, or did you need that reset?
Looking back, I think I probably could have continued. I
Yeah,
really
you
did.
could have made it work.
Yeah, I could have. And there were some things that I needed to do. The most important thing I had to do was come clean with everybody.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
Did
my
you feel like you had to come clean with yourself too?
Oh yeah, that was the biggest thing. You
Yeah.
know, when you're in that kind of, I know a lot of guys that have been in drugs and all that. You know what I mean? Alcohol, all that stuff. Gambling's the same exact thing though.
Right.
When I woke up in the morning, that was my thought. Like, what was I going to gamble on today? Who was I going to lie to get myself going farther?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I relied on a lot of friends to help me out, money wise. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it dug holes with my friends.
And just like any other addiction, it's that rush.
Oh yeah, it was, and it just hit a breaking point. It really did.
Yeah.
I was like, I gotta do something. And I knew that there was a chance I was gonna lose my wife, my family,
Damn.
everything. But it was something I had to do at that point.
Yeah.
And my parents bailed me out. They really did.
Yeah.
They took care of the financial end of it. No, I have to pay them, and that they
Yeah.
didn't just give me money.
Mhm.
That's not what I'm saying. But and the thing that I've noticed in the last 2.5 years since I haven't gambled is the people that have stuck by my side.
Yeah, those are your true friends.
Yeah, and I've
those
had
are your
some
people now.
even some people that I did some not so good things to. Like they'll text me every once in a while. Can't believe how well you're doing, and
Yeah.
we're so happy for you. And I would never mention those people's names, but that means a lot to me when they reach out like that.
What I like about that, if I can finish
Yeah,
this, what I like about that, Jimmy, is I think a lot of people want to avoid talking about stuff like that because they think it's weakness, where I think it's the opposite. I think it's strength. For you to be able to sit down and say, hey, listen, I had issues. This is how I solved them. This is where I'm at today. And I'm a better person for it. I'm a better husband. I'm a better father. I think that's awesome.
And this is a great like I would be willing to talk to anybody because
Yeah.
mine was bad.
Yeah.
And people don't understand how bad it was. I mean,
And
people
like
know
you
me.
said, with addicts, it crosses the line. It doesn't have to be gambling. It could be anything. You could take inspiration for anybody that's having issues with anything.
And I've had a chance to talk to some since I've come clean to some of the best in the world. Honestly, like a Luke Wallet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've talked to Luke over and over again. That's a kid that was going to play in the NFL.
Yeah.
Got injured and turned to drugs, that
Yeah.
pain pills and that.
Yeah.
In his life, he's on top of the world right now.
Yeah.
He runs the biggest rehab center in Florida. I mean, it's just it's opened up opportunities for me. But I'm so excited to be back. in the head coaching role and at McDonald.
Right.
I mean, this is a great place. It really is.
When we brought you on board, I mean, one of the things that we look forward to is you becoming head coach when I stepped down, and it's worked out well. You mentioned your family. Can you briefly just tell us? You have 2 kids.
Yeah, I have a wife. I have a 5-year-old Kaplan, a 3-year-old Lena. I mean, they're our world. They really are.
Yeah.
And those are my parents' only grandkids.
Okay.
So they get spoiled. They really do.
Yeah.
It's enjoyable for them. Now, my wife's side, she has two sisters and a brother. So theirs is a little different.
You have no siblings then?
I have no siblings.
Okay.
I'm the only child. My parents were lucky. They were one and got the best, and they were done.
I spent 2 years. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And listen,
Probably should have asked you more questions when we were hanging
I
out.
knew that.
And listen, my parents have never, and I can't. I'm talking back to my playing days, to coaching, being an assistant coach. I don't know if they've missed 10 games.
I mean, your parents were at a lot of our games, and they didn't even have a kid playing.
Yeah, and my wife's the same way. I mean, she is. I mean, we're all in. When we're in, we're all in. It's just a matter of.
That's the one thing I know with McDonald basketball. When you got the job, I mean, you are all in. Every golf outing, you said, I'm coming to the football games. And even last year as an assistant, you went to the football games.
Yeah, and I played today. I played in the
Building the relationships with the
trying to
kids.
get.
I think that's going to be a huge change that McDonald is going to see between you and Jeff. Hopefully you continue the winning ways, and I know you're going to do great in that, and you're a great X's and O's guy, and you're going to get the kids to work. But Jeff was a little standoffish with administration and things like that, and you didn't see Jeff all the time, playing ball. You like to be involved in the school. You like to be involved in other sports.
That's more of.
That's in your
my
personality.
style. Yeah. That's more of. I guess I like to be involved in everything.
You got our kids doing volunteer work. We didn't do that before. We worried about basketball, and that was it, which we thought was great.
Yeah,
It was great. It was great.
Yeah, you can't knock what you did though. I mean, think about everything that has been.
Well, we looked at basketball as a job to win basketball
Right,
games. You look
right.
at it as a bigger picture. You're about. I mean, not to say we had bad
As we
relations.
got older, especially,
Yeah.
it became more of let's win.
Our relationship
When we
with the
were
kids was
younger, it was
based on
different.
basketball. When
Sure.
we got closer to kids and stuff like that, we ended up having kids that we really liked and we're close to now.
Yeah.
But you embrace the whole team. And you have that philosophy of we're a family, and we kind of joked about that a lot. That you can't be a family if you're turning the ball over and stuff like that. But you do. You have that philosophy, and I think that's great.
It's been good. It has.
Where do you see yourself this year with the team? I mean, I mean, who's the front runner in the MVAC?
I mean, I think it's Springfield, obviously.
Okay.
I think if they, I mean, they're well coached. I mean, we know what they're got a lot of guys back, and
A lot of guys back,
yeah, they're going
yeah.
to be good. I think we'll surprise a lot of people. I think that they think we're going to be down. I wouldn't say we're going to be down at all. I really don't.
I think you'll be right there.
Yeah, I do too. I really do.
Who do you think would be the sleeper team in the MVAC?
Oh, I think it's Louisville for sure. And I don't
Okay.
know. I don't necessarily know if they're a sleeper though. You know what I mean? They got those young kids back. Supposedly they got a couple transfers. We haven't heard supposedly what's going on there yet. But
Speaking of transfers, can we go into that? I mean, you got a couple kids that came back
Yeah,
to
yeah,
McDonald. You want
absolutely.
to talk about those guys?
yeah, listen. With Anthony Ragazine and Miles Kolb coming back from Ridge, they've been great for me.
And you've had some kids that weren't playing previously come out for you this
we
summer.
have Dominic Shade will come back out. Caden Crown, Greg Dixon. trying to think of everybody. Nate Gilligan. I could probably go on and on. Honestly,
All the people that didn't like Jeff and didn't want to play.
They have not stated that, but I've never asked. Either, so.
We didn't care.
We talked about that.
Yeah, I mean, it was. A
And you know what?
situation where-
What's great for those kids is they had a fresh start with you.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
They had a fresh
but
start.
with that said, we have sat down and talked to all those guys, and it's been you got one chance here.
Yeah.
Because most of those guys are seniors, so what you got to do?
Right.
I mean, this is your one
If you wanna
chance to
play,
play.
this is
You're
it.
you're in or
And your
out.
career's over.
Yeah,
You
you're
got
in
one
or
year
out.
and your
You're
career's
in or
over.
out.
Yeah.
So
Talking about beyond next year, where do you see your program? What's going on?
we got some building to do. There's no doubt about it. But our guys are bought in. They really are. They work hard. It's going to be a matter of, I think going forward, Louisville's probably the favorite after this year.
After
For
this
sure.
year.
After
Yeah,
this year.
when those
The
freshmen.
rest of the league is just
It's open.
Yeah, I think it'll be
Yeah.
just I think we'll be able to continue to compete. Are we going to be 22-0? I would think not. That'll be our goal. That's what we're going to try to do.
always.
Yeah.
How much do you buy into? I know you were excited to come to McDonald. And I know you see the tradition, and you've been with us for a couple years. How much do you buy into that tradition of McDonald? Because McDonald has a winning tradition across the board in all sports.
Well,
do you see it as an outsider, or do you feel like you're?
Oh no, it's there.
Yeah.
From an outsider, you have to embrace it. You really do.
Right.
Because you got the kids really believe it though.
And that carries them sometimes.
Oh my God, yeah, they really believe it. And coming into that is just trying to just keep it going. Like one thing I've tried to tell people all the time is, even to this day about coaching with you guys, is people see you on Tuesday night and Friday night. They don't really understand everything else that you do and what goes into it. You get a bad rap.
Yeah, I mean, you think I'm a maniac.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that.
I know you are.
Right.
I know
Never
you are.
bothered
But that's not you though. Other than that, on those nights, in my eyes.
Yeah.
And I think your players would feel the same way. Now, some guys just don't play because they don't like that. I mean, that's just
Right.
not their cup of tea.
And when kids don't play, it doesn't matter who the head coach is.
Yeah.
They're probably not going to like that coach, and that's okay.
Beyond Jeff, though, I mean, even if you took him out of the picture, you coached with us for 2 years, but even if you took it, it's hard to replace a winning coach. To go back into head coaching, what's your mindset and saying, to fill, not saying you're filling Jeff's shoes, I'm not even putting that, but that, I mean, nobody wants to be the coach after the coach that won all those games.
Absolutely not. I mean, yeah. I mean, I kind of fell into that at Struthers too, though.
Okay.
I really did. Joe Safko was before me, and they had won 2 back-to-back district championships when they had the Jackie Backs, and there was a lot of tradition there.
Yeah.
And we were able to. My last year, we made it to the district championship unexpectedly, but it was a great experience for our guys. And there's a lot of people don't understand. Struthers is gritty too. It's kind of like people think I have a little vengeance against Struthers basketball. There's no hard feelings. Coach Mike's a great guy. We'll talk to him. There are no.
There's no ill will.
There's no
ill will. You've never.
We're playing that.
Bash Struthers.
We're going there to play this year. Yeah, last game of the year. So
speaking of schedules, then we've talked to this endlessly. COVID. What do you think? What's going to happen with basketball?
I mean, it's up in the air. It really is.
Are you optimistic?
You're preparing for a full season.
Yeah, right now we are,
Yeah.
but I mean, I think right now, realistically, we're 50-50.
That's what I think also.
I mean, it's a coin flip right now.
Yeah.
I think if people do what they're supposed to, and there's a chance it could get higher than that. Maybe. But I think football is a big question mark. If they get through football, then there better be basketball.
Is there still any talk about them flipping seasons or anything like that? Well, is that off the table?
Kind of dead at this point.
So up till yesterday, I guess the Football Coaches Association they put out something. They put out their own memo of what they want. They want them flipped. But the OHSAA said no. August 1st, they're going.
Just recently, too, Cleveland City Schools canceled football. Or not just football. They canceled sports.
Sports
for
fall sports.
For fall sports.
Yeah.
Yep.
So did Mount Union, OAC.
Right.
Till January 1st.
Yeah. I mean,
how hard is that going to be? Say you got an abbreviator, flat out cancel the basketball season. I mean, you've put a ton of work into these seniors. This is the year.
This is a decent year. I mean,
it'd
be devastating.
It'd be devastating. It was more for the guys, the players,
especially the seniors.
They put in their time, and we got our 3 seniors that have been with us. Those 3 main seniors that have been with us. Oh my God, they're our leaders. They're every day there. I mean, we've done some different stuff in this off season that I've ever done as a coach. I mean, we went some off training. We went to some strength and conditioning. They went on their own. We had about 12 guys there every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday working out with a strength and conditioning guy without me even there.
Yeah, and I actually saw, we haven't talked a ton about your off season. We haven't seen you as much as we did prior to us leaving, but I saw that you were having Zoom meetings. You were having speakers come in.
Yeah, we had some cool stuff.
It's stuff that we would have never done.
We actually had a chance to and we actually had a chance to have Eric Devendorf from Syracuse on to speak to the guys, and it was pretty cool to hear him get to talk to those guys about he was more talking about life.
Right.
Yeah. He wasn't even just talking about basketball. He was talking about everything he's been through in his life to get to where he is. And
a final question for you: what's your staff look like for this coming year?
Well,
got Paulo.
Paulo.
But Paulo was a disappointment last episode. He guaranteed us 4,000 views, Jimmy.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I told you that wasn't happening.
Well, we actually dropped in viewership.
Because of Paulo.
From the second episode to the third episode, we lost about 500 views. I mean, the only thing we could think.
Yeah, it's
Kevin
simple.
Paulo.
It was simple.
And
yeah.
you did call that
Oh
beforehand.
my gosh, yeah, I knew that was easy. But yeah, Paul will be back.
Okay.
Um,
Paulo's great.
Having said that, Paulo will be back.
with that said, Paul may be back now. We'll see how this episode. But Paul will be back for sure, and we got a couple. Tyler Spencer, kid that had played
Okay.
Niles.
at Niles, yeah,
Yeah, good
and
player.
coached at Niles in JFK, good player. He's going to come on staff, and then we got a couple other guys we're in the mix of. We're trying to get one more guy maybe and do something with contracts to give us enough
Okay.
guys to be there. And our main thing is we want some guys that are excited to be there and ready.
You need
to go.
energy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I bring enough.
You do, but you
Not
need
as much as
energy,
you.
but-
So we need at least 3 guys to bring what you brought.
Right.
And the other thing is, you've always said this. You're going down into elementary school.
Oh, our if our youth program's not the best in the area in the next couple of years, I would be surprised. I
Okay.
really would. I really would.
Well, before we let you go, we always do a little bit of a finishing segment with each one of our interviews, and you know that. You've watched the show. Speaking of that, I mean, how surprised are you how big FCP
How
is?
famous.
I mean,
It's unbelievable.
it's
I
crazy,
said
right?
that.
You knew it was coming,
your
right?
wives didn't believe it. I did. I did. I was bought in.
From the beginning.
Oh
Jimmy,
my
you
God.
bought in. You knew it was going to go big, and we'd be making
No,
millions
Randy
before long.
Riccatelli has rode your coattails. Kind of. You know what I mean? I mean, it's been kind of.
We're not going to throw Randy under the bus because he's actually been pretty good to us. So.
This is the first episode he hasn't been in.
This is
Yes,
the
this
first
is the first
episode.
episode that he has not been a part of.
Got,
still, someone
got
put
some
that-
spectators chiming in.
All right, what do we got?
All right, we call this segment "Truth Hurts." So you have to talk a little bit about 5 questions. Can't lie. Lizzo reference. You know who Lizzo
Yeah,
is
now
now?
I know.
Oh yeah, Truth Hurts. Kaplan loves that song. Loves it.
First couple are softballs. Then it gets a little bit harder to answer the question, but you got to
I
tell
don't
us
know
the
what he's
truth.
going to ask. So.
All right, here we go.
We haven't
can't
gone
help
over
it.
this yet.
Yeah.
You can. Thanks, Jack.
No passing.
I ain't passing.
I've never seen you pass, so
I'm
you're
in.
not
Let's
passing
go.
it. First one's easy. Best pizza.
Ooh, I don't know. That's not that easy.
I've
You
seen
know-
the pizzas you eat.
I lost 30 pounds.
Yeah, but you could still eat it.
Oh yeah, I kill it still.
What about that burnt pizza that you eat in
I was just
Stratus?
gonna say, you know, my parents will be highly disappointed I say this, but Elton is one of my favorite. It really is. Well done, Elton Pizza and Struthers.
We went
It
to the
is.
Elton one time. Jimmy was like, "This is how you got to eat this pizza." It was like eating a piece of charcoal. It was black on the bottom. The
I
crust.
thought it was pretty good,
Thank
actually.
you, thank you. I'm a Wedgwood guy though too. I
That's
really am.
Wedgwood is your
I
pick
like
on it.
Wedgwood. That's close to my house though too. So
Okay.
I'm about convenience.
Another easy one. Number 2, best vacation spot.
Best vacation spot. Oh, my wife will kill me. She'll absolutely kill me when I say this, but I'm a Put-in-Bay guy.
Yeah,
I love it.
not the beach.
I
You
like
talk about the beach a
I know,
lot.
I like the beach. I like the beach, but beach is more family. I'm being-
Okay, you're gonna be a little selfish in
I'm
that
gonna be a little
answer.
selfish right now.
Okay.
I like to have a good time.
Okay, question 3. Only as a head coach, not as an assistant. Best player you ever had.
Man,
I mean, we take this show seriously.
Yeah.
We have good questions.
you know that's a. I had, I would say I had 3 top players that I coached when I was at Struthers. Were my 3. And at the beginning, my first year was Ray Pfeiffer. Went on and played, you know, had a great career at La Roche. Still, the one thing with my players, and people are always, this is a positive and a negative, is I stay so close with some of these guys after they're done. Like, I still talk to Ray as much as I can.
He came in the gym all the time.
Yeah,
to play.
and some of his buddies that
Yes,
he's
yes.
friends with.
So is it Ray? I mean, you gotta give
Well, he
us
said
an
he's got
answer.
3.
I got 3.
Oh,
that I-
okay,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
3 and 4
I should have
years.
paid
3
attention.
and yeah, those are 3 yeah. And then Andrew Carbon, AC.
Yeah, AC.
Went on to play at Mount Union, great player. You know, I got to coach him all 4 years. First year I was an assistant, 3 as a head coach, and then obviously Carson Ryan. I mean,
Yeah.
I had Carson is a special player and a special. You know, he's more of a. He's such a good person. He really is.
That was a very political answer you just gave. That was like a
3.
past, present, future.
Yeah, those are the 3 guys that I
Yeah.
They were in my time. They were my 3.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right, scale of 1 to 10. 1 being not at all. How much do you listen to your wife on coaching advice?
1 to 10.
Yeah.
One
On a
is
scale
one
of 1 to
not
10.
at all.
1 that you don't listen to her at all.
1.
Does she give you coaching advice?
Zero.
She
does coach.
She does.
Yeah.
She coaches volleyball at Girard, and she's actually taken this year off. Probably because I'm a head coach again.
Well, but you come home, you wanna bitch a little bit about this kid or that coach.
She's
listening.
Well, she'll listen to anything I say.
Yeah.
But she's so soft-hearted and like she's like, you
She's
can't
taking
do
the kid's
this.
side.
Oh, it don't matter. Yeah. It.
Does she know basketball?
Yeah, she coaches.
okay.
Yeah, she
All right.
played.
But you're not gonna listen to it.
No, zero. Zero.
All right, last question. We're gonna let you off easy. Over under McDonald's 17 wins.
Over.
All right.
Ooh, pressure's on.
All right, pressure's on. We want to thank Jimmy for coming in.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
I
Good luck
appreciate
this
you
year.
guys. I do.
We're gonna be there. We're gonna watch you. We hope
No,
you win.
you're not.
No, we're probably not.
But anyway, all jokes aside, I really appreciate everything you guys have done for me the last 2 years.
Same.
Wholeheartedly. I mean, it means a lot. And I'm excited to continue to build our relationship.
I always felt like you were part of my family, Jimmy.
I agree. I just didn't feel like the players were part of it.
Coming up next, speaking of Jimmy in our coach's office, we got coach's office. coming
Coach's
up.
office next.
Thanks, Jimmy.
You guys got it. Thank you.
All right, here we go.
We are back, and we're back in the coach's office. You know, it's the segment where we take questions from the viewers, and we try to answer them as honestly as we can.
Yeah, we had a bunch of questions when we were in studio at YSN. It was like a 3-hour coach's office when we were in.
Yeah, last Friday we were in YSN for 3 hours, and people called in, and we also had some questions that people had sent us previous. DJ needed to boost the ratings, and he brought us in, and
Yep.
he told Ron Potesta to take the day off, and we took over the Potesta show.
That's right, and it was a lot of fun, but I don't know how anybody could ever do a show for 3 hours.
Oh,
every
it's
day.
a long time. Give Ron credit. Although, we had more viewers on Friday than he's probably had in, a couple weeks combined.
We don't have to worry about Ron seeing this because he probably doesn't watch this show.
If Ron is watching, we appreciate you, Ron.
We do. And you know who the first question for coach's office?
It's got to be Brett from Hubbard,
That's
who
right.
is real.
Brett called in.
He called in.
And Brett is real.
Spent 10, 15 minutes on the phone with us.
And this is a good question because it kind of piggybacks on us just talking to Jimmy, coach at McDonald, our last interview. And his question is, who's the favorite to win the NBA seed this year?
Well, hopefully there's a season. Let's start with
Well,
that.
yeah, if we have a season.
We talked with Jimmy about this and McDonald's chances of winning this year, the league championship. I think the favorites probably got to be Springfield.
For sure.
They're returning probably 4 or 5 kids who contributed at the varsity level last year. They've got some good talent returning. Steve France, this is his 3rd or 4th year. Steve French, this is his 3rd or 4th year here at Springfield. And, they had a really good JV team last year.
They were great. So, remember, they destroyed Paulo.
They killed Paulo. Was it the first game or second game?
Yeah.
Did they score 100 points on us?
That was crazy. They were good.
And they got size. Their JV team had size, but one kid was dunking on us.
Yeah.
So I think they're probably the favorite. Look out for McDonald. McDonald isn't. They've got some talent, and
Jimmy has confidence.
Jimmy thinks they're going to be pretty good. I think they're going to be pretty good. They're going to have to learn to, how to survive without Zach a little bit scoring. Other guys will step up, but Jake Portelease is one of the best players in the league, so he'll be fine. The wild card might be Waterloo. I think that Kyle Shockley is probably the best player in the league across the board. He could do it all. He's a good athlete, 6'4" point guard. He'll probably put up 25 points a game next year, so he might be the best player in the league. But I would probably go with those 3 being the top. Jackson Milton's returning everybody, and Coach Procopio does a great job with Jackson Milton. So
we love the Procopios.
We love them. They're just straight people.
Say that about right.
Yeah, I mean, we've never had issues with the Procopios at all, and they've just always been upfront with us and honest, and never complained.
And they're
much.
Super young, but Louisville's returning everybody too.
Oh, Louisville, I forgot about Louisville. They're still young though.
Yeah.
Last year I think they were optimistic. And we talked before the season about Louisville, and we didn't think they would be as good as what they thought they were going to be.
It's hard to win games with freshmen.
You don't win games with freshmen. You could piece a freshman in there every once in a while with older kids, but when you're playing 3 or 4 freshmen at a time, there's no way. You're not beating seniors. It just doesn't happen very often.
Right.
So Louisville will be good. I think they're probably still a year away though.
So I definitely think that Springfield's the team to beat.
Springfield's a team to beat.
And then everybody's kind of fallen into that second tier.
Yes, but Springfield this past year started slow.
Yeah.
They
football team.
They did. Would they lose in a state championship?
Yeah, I don't know.
And they started slow. They did not look good, the first 10 games of the year. And then they went on a roll. I guess, if there's football, we'll see how far their football team goes, because that'll hurt them. Obviously, the Brungard boy plays football, so, as well as some of the others. So we'll see.
Okay, second question. This is going to be a little controversial.
Okay.
Mike actually called into the YSN also.
Mike Bass.
Mike Bass, and that's
Mike
actually...
Bass from Hubbard.
He's my brother-in-law,
Yes.
so we
Yeah,
got
we
to
know
put
Mike
that
a
out
long
there
time.
first. And he has a question. He actually emailed us this question. And let me get through it. There's a couple sentences here.
Okay.
In today's crazy world, where do you think all the activist demands will end? So this is a little loaded. You can tell already. When will the Blue Devils have to change their name because it might be considered offensive? And I can't wait to go to a baseball game next year to watch the Cleveland Tribe.
Mike. Well, let's start with the Blue Devils, just because he brought that up. McDonald Blue Devils. Could you imagine trying to change that name in McDonald with these lifelong McDonald fans? It would be very, very difficult. For me, I wouldn't care. I didn't grow up in McDonald. Right. They could change it to whatever they want. But, the lifelong residents and fans, that would be tough. I know Mike's a huge Washington Redskins fan.
And that's where this question's coming
Sure.
from. Right.
And I also know he's a Cincinnati Reds fan.
True.
So, I know that's where this question is coming from. For me, honestly, Brian, I'm kind of indifferent to the whole thing. Yep. If they change the names, great. If they don't change the names, I'm fine with that too. Right. I'm not going to draw a line in the sand and say we need to do something or we don't need to do something. Right. DJ told us we're not allowed to talk politics.
Yeah, and this is sports politics, so this is kind of like, the movements and the protesting and things going on right now.
Well, you and I in general are pretty liberal people.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, we're a social worker and a teacher.
Right, right.
And those, professionals.
Grew up in union households.
So, yeah, we tend to go that way in our profession. But when I look at this question, I think of, I think everybody wants to make the point of where do you draw the line. Blue Devils, nobody's protesting the Blue Devils. We've coached forever. We've never seen one person upset that we are the Blue Devils. So that's the line. And I get what he's saying, where do you stop? Where do you draw the line? But no one cares about the McDonald Blue Devils. There are groups of people that care about the Redskins.
The Cleveland Indians.
So there are groups of people that I think at this point in our history, they deserve to be heard.
Sure.
And you could say whatever you want about why a team is named something, but when you look back, there have been groups that that have protested the Redskin name, and more Chief Wahoo than I think the Indians name, because Chief Wahoo was a caricature.
Right.
It's a red face giant. That's a racist symbol. Yeah. It is. You just have to admit that. And the Redskins are the Redskins. So you see a little bit of different philosophy when you talk about like the Seminoles. Nobody says like Florida State is because it's indigenous to that area, so they're honoring them. So I think you can make that argument that you're honoring them, but I think as a society, one, we have to listen to those groups. I've heard so many people, and they're friends of mine, and I just like Mike, I love Mike. He's my brother-in-law.
And he's against changing the Redskins.
I'm sure he is. He's
a lifelong fan.
I'm assuming from this question that that's what he's thinking.
Sure sounds it.
But, so I love these people. I respect these people, but they're like, I'm not offended. Well, you're not offended. You're not a Native American. You're not a Native American. Right. You know what I mean? It's easy for you to say you're not offended. I think as a society, one, we have to listen to these people. And I think the Indians are doing the Cleveland, Indians are doing it the right way. They said, we're going to sit down with these groups. We're going to talk to them. We're going to see. I think the Indians' name is gone.
Oh, no doubt.
No doubt. It's gone. I don't know.
Francona came out and said it should be gone.
And I think in this time in our history, it's time. I think it's time for us to listen to that group. One, listen. Don't think like as a society, we're going to tell you what you think anymore. We're going to listen to your beef. Right. If you're offended by this, we're going to listen to that. And then two, I think at this point in our history, it's not enough to say I'm not racist. You have to be anti-racist.
Yeah.
You have to stand up for that group and say, hey, I'm there with you. I don't understand it because I might be different than you or I grew up different than you, but I understand, I'm listening, and we're going to be on board with what you want.
Sure.
And in the end, it's a baseball team.
Right, or a football team.
Or a football
team.
Matter. You're still going to have that team.
Right,
and listen, I love Cleveland. I'm a diehard. If there's any championship that I want to see, it's Cleveland baseball. Mm-hmm. I was in the stands in the 90s, and when we'd go... Heartbreak. It killed me. It was worse than breakups from girlfriends when the Indians lost the World Series. So I'm there, but I could care less what their team name is.
I agree with that.
And I am not going to look past a group of people Native Americans that are offended by the name. I'm going to stand up for them at this point.
Sure.
And I think I'll be on the right side of history when I do that.
Well, I mean, look, when we were growing up, you had Columbus Day. We had
Right.
Columbus Day off. It doesn't happen anymore.
Right.
And rightfully so.
Right.
You know, Columbus and the Europeans came and raped and killed.
I mean, that's facts.
That's facts. Yeah,
You know-
nobody can dispute that history.
And even like I'm drinking Guinness tonight. We talked a little bit about being Irish in the beginning, and Guinness coming from Ireland, and I have some Irish ancestry. And I can remember when we talk all the time when I go to vacation in Disney World. I went through Epcot, and we walked through the England World Showcase Pavilion, and they were selling St. Patrick's Day merchandise. And I was so livid. And I'm not trying to compare that to this. This is night and day.
Right.
This isn't BLM, and this isn't Native Americans upset about I mean, this is me being upset because there's a history of Irish and English.
Sure.
I mean, the riots and the protests, and that all happened. I was saying, if there's a worse place you could sell St. Patrick's Day material, it's in England.
Sure.
So I wrote a letter. And I was that upset about someone selling pins or souvenirs. And
Did
you
Disney
imagine?
respond?
Yeah, they did. A
Did they
manager
really?
called me. I had a half-hour conversation with the manager about the history of Irish
The
oppression,
relations.
and the relations, and the protests, and I talked all about everything I knew about it because it meant something to me. Could you imagine if you felt every time you saw the Washington Redskins logo
right.
that you were hurt by that?
Yeah.
Or your kids saw that, or
Sure.
how do you explain that to your kids? I was that mad about a hat or a pin, and these people got to live it every day. I think we need to listen to them.
Yeah, I'm good with that. And I'm good with the change.
And the second thing I'm going to say about that is this. Disagree with me. Let's be respectful for each other. Let's talk about
Yeah.
it. Because I think right now we're so divided.
And our country's, it's
It's
bad.
terrible.
It's bad.
We have to start having conversations again. Even if you disagree, we still have to talk about
Sure.
it without hating one another, without drawing that line. So that's where I'm at on that. Is that good for you?
It's good for me.
All right. Third question. Tim from Brookfield. This is one I love. This is a good
Okay.
one. Which sport has the most in shape and most out of shape coaches?
Coaches. I thought you were going to say kids.
No.
Coaches. Well, obviously I'm biased, and the basketball coaches are physical specimens and the best looking and in the best shape.
Yeah.
In all seriousness,
I like how we
cross
go
country.
I like how we go from
Yeah,
second
yeah.
question to this.
Yeah, Washington Redskins.
This is a perfect
Cleveland
FCP,
Indians.
transition.
Who's in better shape? Probably cross country coaches, track coaches. Might
They
be in
run,
better shape.
you know.
Cross country coaches, I know most of them run.
Yeah.
Obviously in general, we are in great shape. The former McDonald's staff.
Falling apart a
Well,
little
you
bit.
and I.
Yeah,
I
right.
can't say this coming year that it's going to be the same for them.
Well, what's funny though is we talked about this all the time about being in shape. Winners killed us.
Killed us.
Because
You get the stress of basketball, and then you're eating late at night, and
Yeah.
you're eating after games, which,
Yep.
we never ate healthy after games, or I
Right.
never ate healthy after games, but, I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna go, and if I had to name it, I'm gonna say cross-country coaches.
All right,
But I'm gonna say basketball coaches are second, like right there.
I don't know. You see some pretty big basketball coaches. There's a few.
Yeah, no doubt.
There's a few. And
I don't know, have we ever seen a fat cross-country coach? I'm sure they're out there.
I don't know though. I mean, usually you see the cross country coaches running with the kids.
Sure.
I couldn't run.
There's no chance.
Well,
Zero.
we stopped.
I would never want to.
We stopped playing basketball with the
Well,
kids.
we stopped playing
decades ago. A couple
mid-30s.
10,
Yeah, because we started getting hurt too.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
wasn't worth it.
Yeah. The worst shape coaches. That's an easy one, I think.
The worst shape.
Yeah. It's football coaches. It's football coaches. I've never seen a team that didn't have a fat football coach on the sideline. Right? Is that true or not true?
That's probably true.
And if you're not, you're going to be.
Why is that?
I don't know. I never coached football, so I don't know. But and if you're not, like I was gonna say, if you're not fat, you become fat at some point. I've watched, we've watched some of these preseason interviews and stuff like that. There's some good shape football coaches out there. They're in good shape.
Oh, no doubt.
20 years from now, they're gonna be fat. So out of the major sports, I think football.
Well, cross country's probably the best.
Yeah.
Are we in agreement on that?
Probably.
What are the ones we know?
And you almost have to be in shape to be a baseball coach because you have to wear the pants and stuff like that.
Oh, I wouldn't wear the pants.
Don't they though?
They do.
still
I
wear-
would not. If
Yeah.
I was a baseball coach, I'm like showing up. I'll wear the jersey, but I'm
Yeah.
coming in shorts.
Yeah.
like basketball shorts.
Yeah. I don't think they let that happen, though.
You probably have to be in full uniform.
So, like, if I was a baseball coach, I would be in better shape because you have to put those pants on.
You're going to look really bad.
So I think they're neutral. I think basketball coaches are neutral. You see them on both.
Yeah,
You see big guys. You see a lot of fat football coaches. I would have to say football is the worst. And probably cross country is the best. I don't know the
what
other
about
sports.
bowling?
Oh, there's some fat bowlers. There's some big bowlers. You know that. There's big bowlers. There's big cornhole players.
Yeah, but you don't have cornhole in high school.
They should. They should. Well, that's it for coach's office.
That's it.
We're getting kicked out after that.
There's nobody from football that's going to appreciate us anymore.
They just all, like, you're going to see all our views just drop right off a cliff from that. But we still love the football coaches. And hey, listen, if I could coach a sport and get fat and still do it, I'd coach football.
And we're pulling for them because, right now it's a sticky situation for them. It's iffy. Who knows what's going to happen?
I hope there's a football season.
I do too.
Yeah, we're
for the kids'
We're
sake.
pulling for that for sure.
Sure.
Next up is Nerd Alert. We're going to talk about a few different things.
Yeah, some sports memorabilia. We're just going to throw out some things.
Cool. We'll see you in a second. All right, Jeff, we're back with Nerd Alert. What do you got for us tonight?
Well, the first week we talked about sports cards. Second episode we talked about vintage metal lunchboxes.
Which was awesome.
And then the last episode we talked about wrestling figures.
You got Hulk with you.
We got Hulk right next to me. So this week we're going to talk about sports memorabilia, some other pieces of sports memorabilia.
Okay.
So I brought 3 of my pieces with me so that we could go over and show the fans, what's out there. So the first thing, Brian, that we have is, I know you've seen this before and you think this is really cool.
I love this one.
We've got
Yep.
the first edition of Sports Illustrated.
Yep.
And this is from 1954.
Who is that on the cover there? Do you know?
That is, geez, oh man, I don't know.
Looked like Eddie Matthews.
It may be Eddie Matthews. It absolutely may be Eddie Matthews. But
because that looks like what's that stadium called? County Stadium.
Could be.
You know why I thought that? Because of the movie Major League. Major League, they filmed most of the scenes at County Stadium. That's what it looks like to me.
Well,
I don't know for
this
sure.
is from August 16th, 1954. And just so you know, it's 25 cents to buy it new. And now it's about $150.
Is that a rare piece?
It is. It's pretty rare. And
Same
obviously,
thing, condition.
Yeah, I was just going to say, obviously it all depends on condition. And this one here is in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
And I actually got this one when I bought a card collection. It was part of the card collection. Otherwise, I don't collect Sports Illustrated.
So, like, beyond, obviously, the first edition, are there other ones that are big?
Not really. And the other ones are more based on who's on the cover.
As
Not
the
necessarily
swimsuit
like the
edition?
second episode.
Swimsuit edition?
Yeah, maybe. But like, MJ, Michael Jordan's, a couple LeBron's. But when I say worth something, we're not talking big money.
So, like, the one where LeBron's holding the bat, that says
The chosen one.
Right. Is that a big one? Or
No, not really. I mean, even the ones that are worth something, we're talking about $10 or so.
Yeah.
But that one in particular, because it's issue number 1, it's about $150 on eBay.
Now, do you grade that one, too?
You could, but I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not a Sports Illustrated guy. I've just held on to it because it was issue number 1, and that one is in really good condition.
And you found that on eBay, too?
No, I got that in a card collection.
Okay.
So when I bought a big baseball card, sports card collection, that was part of it, and I've just never gotten rid of it. At some point, I'll sell that.
I love that one.
Yeah. Second thing I brought in to show the fans, this is a LeBron James McFarlane rookie signed, autographed.
Oh my gosh.
Now, this is pretty nice.
LeBron looks like he's 40, by the way.
In the first, and this is his rookie year. This is 2003.
Yeah.
And you could see his signature, and it's legit.
Yeah.
I mean, this was signed at their training facility.
Yeah.
Was it Independence? Is it Independence? I think
know.
so. And it was. This does not have a COA,
Okay.
but I know it's authentic.
Yeah,
100%.
but then how do you prove that if you want to sell it?
Well, they either take my word for it,
Right.
or I get a COA. Now, if I were to get a COA, it would be worth more.
Okay.
Because that would guarantee. But that also costs money, and I don't care because it's
Yeah.
my piece. So
Right.
I don't need. I know it's real.
That's awesome.
If I go to sell this one, it's anywhere in the range of probably $300 to $400. If I get a COA, I mean, it could be $600 to $800 for 2 reasons. One, it's LeBron, and he's super hot right now. He's on fire right now. But the second reason is it's his rookie year, McFarlane. So it's a nice piece.
So where does when you balance between McFarlane and starting lineups?
I don't buy and sell McFarland are starting lineups.
Okay.
They're kind of a pain in the butt.
Those
if
are
you
the
ask
two
me.
big ones.
They are. They are two
and
big
starting
figures.
lineups look like shit compared to McFarland. Right?
Well, McFarland's are more expensive.
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
no doubt. But when you talk about starting lineup figures, when you're talking about starting lineup figures from the 80s, they have the most value.
Okay.
Even more than McFarland.
'Cause they're older.
Yeah, they are.
When
and
did
they're
McFarland start
rare.
in the 90s then?
Yeah. I don't even know if they even started in the 90s or in the 2000s.
Okay.
The last thing I brought with me is a pretty nice piece.
Okay.
These are Kobe Bryant
No kidding.
autograph shoes.
I don't think I've ever seen those.
Now, the shoes themselves are Kobe 8s.
Okay.
And you can see on this one that the signature is on the lip here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a nice signature. Okay. Now, what's rare is usually Kobe will take a pair of shoes and he'll sign one of the shoes and he'll give them back to you. But in this case, Kobe signed both of the shoes. So you can see the signature there.
How'd you get that?
Well, those were signed in person in Cleveland by Kobe Bryant at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel. And he was there for a Cavs game, and he signed these shoes. Now, these shoes do not have a COA
So
either.
you bought that off of whoever got those?
Yes, I
Okay.
bought these. I did not have
You
them.
didn't take those off your feet?
I did not.
Okay.
I think the kid did, though.
Yeah.
These shoes, a couple of things. Now, first of all, these shoes are relatively new. They were worn probably once or twice, and you can tell. They weren't worn many times. Okay, if they were brand new, out of the box, never worn, that would also increase the value.
And
Okay.
if they were Kobe's real shoes,
Well, I was just
that
going to say,
shoots 'em up.
these don't have a COA.
Yeah.
If these had a COA, these shoes are probably $2,000. Without a COA, I could probably sell these shoes for $700 or $800.
And the same thing as at LeBron. It's just your word at that point.
Correct,
Yeah.
but because there's actual documentation of where it was signed, the day it was signed, where it was signed, it makes sense.
There's a
And I
certain-
know who had these signed.
Right.
There's no question they're real.
A lot of times when you see people they talk about signatures, they have a picture of the guy signing it.
Correct.
Holding with that shoe or the
It's
magazine.
still in that holds obviously some value, but it's still not as good as a COA.
For sure.
You still want somebody to identify that's a signature. I'm absolutely certain that's the signature. You can look at the signatures of Kobe and that's his signature. Now, what you said was, well, what if it was game worn shoes?
Right.
Kobe actually wore them during the game, took them off, signed them, and handed them to you. You're probably those shoes right there. You're probably talking $20,000.
No kidding.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking an insane amount because they would be so rare. You whatever someone's willing to give you
Right.
is the value of that.
For sure.
But those ones right there, without the COA, they're probably $600-800, maybe $1,000. But what's unique about those shoes is he signed both of them.
Right. Now, will you keep those, or will you try to dump them at some point?
I have them now. My big dilemma with those, if I go to sell them, do I sell one at a time or do I sell the pair?
Right.
And I don't know what I'll do with
That
those.
depends on price, I guess.
It always depends on what someo's willing to give you, whether or not you sell it or not.
And then you can put it in a case if you don't.
Yeah,
Those are
right.
awesome.
And I'm not in any hurry. I mean, obviously, Kobe passed, and his memorabilia just took off. I mean, it's skyrocketed, but it's starting to settle in now. But his shoes still, he's one of the top 10 NBA players of all time.
So, in terms of memorabilia, is shoes all over the place? Is that a big thing, or is that a pretty small market?
Well, besides cards, eliminating cards, because cards are easy because they're small. Probably the number one market besides cards would be jerseys. And, people have commented about the jerseys I have in my office.
Right,
Those are all autographed, and you can see them behind, and those are all autographed. And I've got about, 20 or 30 autographed jerseys throughout my basement, and in my office, I have the Hall of Fame quarterbacks.
Right.
So probably after cards, jerseys are number one. And then you get into like basketballs or footballs. And, I just picked up a nice Tom Brady football the other day, and, it's pretty cool.
And then action figures. Those are big.
Yeah, action figures. Well, then you're talking.
Then you go into all kinds of
McFarland
markets,
starting lineups, but
because then you start going into toys and
Correct.
like wrestlers. We talked about the
Correct.
last show. G.I. Joe, Star Wars.
I wouldn't, as far as the sports market's concerned, the starting lineups and the McFarlands in general, I don't think there's a huge market for them. When you start signing them, different situation.
Yeah. Cool.
Yep.
All right, that's it for Nerd Alert.
When we come back, we'll be back for our final
Yep.
shot, and that's Brian Tolnar.
I'm actually wearing my Mill Creek Park shirt.
Okay.
So I'm going to take that over there. And
We're going on location,
we're going
so
to the
we're gonna,
clubhouse,
after
we're gonna
this,
talk to
we're going to
Brian.
wrap it up. We're going to head over there, and we're going to talk to Brian about golf and about Mill Creek Park, and some of the best golfers, high school golfers he's seen.
And we're going to ask him if he'll give us a bucket of balls, and we can start whacking them all over the course.
That'd be good.
All right, we'll see you in a minute.
Here we are with Brian Tolnar from Mill Creek Park for the Final Shot interview. Brian, how you doing?
Doing awesome.
You just want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Brian Tolnar grew up in Hubbard, Ohio. Had the opportunity to play golf at Hubbard. Amongst the myriads of other sports, went to Youngstown State University, was a head professional at Avalon Lakes here locally, before spending about 11 or 12 years up in western New York in the Rochester area at two facilities, Triple Creek and Blue Heron, where I was a GM and director of golf. Opportunity arose down here at Mill Creek to have the opportunity to come here and be the director of golf, and so far it's morphed into the PGA director of golf, and I'm part of the recreation department now as well as of like 2 years ago. So I'm PGA golf and recreation director. A lot of moving parts. It's been a lot of fun to be able, number one, to come back home where my family is, to share my life with my wife and our little one, with my parents and grandparents and everything that comes with that. So just happy to be able to move back home and have this opportunity, because I didn't think I'd ever be back here, but it's worked out really well, and I've really enjoyed my time here at Mill Creek.
Now, when we came in, you were talking about, we were coming up into the locker room area, and you were talking about some changes that you guys are making. So what's going on with the park and with the golf course?
Well, the park itself put together a 10-year capital improvement campaign, and part of that, being a division of that with the golf department here. In 2015, we basically spent the year trying to look at areas that we felt were deficient and needed some improvement. Like any position I've been at, it's you want to make it better than how you found it. In 2016, we really rolled out a plan to tackle some of the areas. 2016, we did the bunkers, total bunker restoration on the south course, along with the new kart staging area, new golf carts as well. They were on some borrowed time. The second year after that, in 17, we did the bunkers on the north course. So we've got both courses completed. A little bit over, I think, 110 bunkers in total. Greens drainage was last year. Kart passes this year, and we're about 2 weeks away from completing all the kart pass on the south course and the 4 remaining on the north course. So a project that started, I believe, in 2001. That now that we're into 2020, we have the opportunity to complete that.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's been
awesome.
And this is a pretty historical course.
It is.
So do you have to weigh like how it was created and how to make
Yeah.
it better at the same time?
Well, with the bunkers, it was a matter of we wanted them to make them just like how they were when Donald Ross designed them. He was, very flat. A lot of the contour and the lips that you see on bunkers now. He was a superintendent and a golf professional, so he was very cognizant of the superintendent side, the ease of maintenance. So basically, we brought those back from how they morphed into bunkers that had big lips and a lot of maintenance to it. So from a maintenance standpoint, they're a lot better. We put drainage in all of them, just like we did all of the greens, which is, I tell everybody we went from the 1920s to 2020 last year in the fall when we completed that. So it's stuff that we really needed to improve upon to get everything, number one, aesthetically, and I've been lucky. They hired a new executive director January before I came in. I was one of his first hires in March. With his leadership, Aaron Young and our park board, they've done absolutely wonders for making the park better, not just with golf, but all over throughout the course of the Metro Park.
And this is an open course.
Absolutely.
You don't have to be a member here or anything.
No.
On a typical weekend, how many people come through this course?
On a typical weekend, I was just joking downstairs, normally we do about 68 to 70,000 rounds per year. And you got to keep in mind this year we were closed. We were open maybe 6 days in March, closed all of March, where we could have had some golf. April and a couple days in May, and we've done like 40,000 rounds in a short period of time. So I mean, we've moved the needle quick. Fortunately for us, golf is one of those sports that really didn't get that too shut down from the COVID stuff.
It almost
Because
sounds
you're
like the
outdoors.
opposite happened with COVID. It drew people to golf
Absolutely.
courses.
We're seeing people that are getting reinvigorated, or people that have had kids and maybe stepped away from the game for the last 4 or 5 years get right back into it. So it's been nice. Plus, the family atmosphere. We put in kids' tees 2 years ago as well on both courses, so it gives them an opportunity to bring your family out here and play. We do on Fridays and Saturdays a family fun night, $25, 2 carts, 2 adults. Basically, take as many kids as you want. You
Oh,
can
that's
go out and
awesome.
play
That's
after
cool.
4:30 both
That's
days.
awesome.
So we're trying to get families involved at a very expensive price with everything else that we've got going on. We've got a driving range now that they didn't have when I was a kid. They have lighted par 3 down the road here,
Right.
which a lot of people take advantage. We have a ton of kids playing league. Now this year, obviously with the shutdown of kids events and leagues,
Right.
it didn't get off the ground, but they've been around for, I want to say about 40 years down there. Sandwich Factory, sponsors that. They do a good job, and we have about 68 boys and 68 girls that get up really early on Saturday morning and go down there and play.
Now, you guys are also actively involved in the Greatest Golfer,
Absolutely.
and also you host high school matches here, right? You
We
have some
do.
high schools that play here.
Absolutely.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, high school teams, we have 8 locally here.
Oh,
We
wow.
have the 2 teams at YSU, so 2 collegiate teams, the boys and the girls. Nationally, we do a American Junior Golf Association tournament where we get everybody coming over from anywhere overseas. I think we have 49 of the 50 states, with the exception of Kansas. We can't seem to draw anybody from Kansas to come to this national tournament that we have. We just finished up the Node Begay Classic last Thursday and Friday. But having a good high school base here, where you've got juniors acclimated at the par 3 and PGA Junior League and drive, chip, and putt, and a myriad of junior tournaments that we host, to be able to see those kids grow up, get to the point where they can play high school golf and maybe play collegiately.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive. And then you take that, and then you throw the Vindy's Greatest Golfer on there, which has a junior component, a scramble component. They do a par 3 shootout. They do a long drive, plus the adult division. I think it's well rounded and getting people interested in the game of golf.
Just talking about juniors, what do you think is the biggest mistake that kids are making in regards to golf?
Well, I think like anything, you have to put the time and the effort in. It's golf's not an easy game.
It's a skilled game.
It's a skilled game. There's no doubt about it, and you have to spend a lot of time and a lot of effort, and it beats you up. And if you're not playing well, the errors are magnified times 100.
The mental game is
The mental game,
so
I
it's
think,
really-
is where
yeah.
it is. So I think early on, from a golf professional, PGA professional's perspective, is we want to make the game as fun as possible
Okay.
up until you're about 12 or 13, and then that's really where you want to take it. Do you want to play competitively, or do you just want to play as a recreational golfer the rest of your life?
And that sounds
there's
like the
two
same
avenues.
timeline we talked in other sports.
We've
too.
talked about this with
You know?
other sports, and with basketball especially, is when does it really become competitively and or competitive? And it's that 7th, 8th grade range.
Yes,
Where kids have got to start thinking about, do I want to do this?
Yep. And I think too, a big piece of it is you want to be able to play multiple sports, because you want to develop every muscle, and all of those, whether it be basketball, football, baseball, are good sports that give you some grounding and some help muscularly in golf. So I think having a well-rounded athlete to where you're not just one-dimensional is certainly part of that. Me as a junior growing up, basketball was probably my favorite sport. Other than being short and not very good, we played a number of years without having some winning records or anything. But I really enjoyed playing that, because you run and you have to dribble and shoot in the whole 9 yards. And then, obviously not growing, found another sport that actually adapted well to and put some time and effort in. But it does take a lot of time and effort with the game to get to that next level.
Now, changing gears just a little bit. So you're a golf pro in Northeast Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got to get pretty crazy in the summers and
It
a little
does.
slow in the winters.
Yeah.
How many hours you work during the summer?
Phew, I'll tell you what, it's well north of 60, so you're
Okay.
probably looking at 80 during the season, which
Peak
is
season.
basically from March through whenever we close down with golfers. It could be Thanksgiving traditionally. There's some years that we've had golf up until Christmas Eve.
Okay.
So,
Just based on the weather.
Based on the weather, we keep the golf shop open till Christmas Eve. That's our last day for the year. Basically use January and February. We're still coming in 40 hours a week. Part of my role is with recreation. We have snowshoeing, cross country. We have sledding. We have ice skating. We
okay.
have a myriad of things that we do during the winter that keeps us busy. But scheduling, putting your programs together, booking your outings, booking your tee times. We also go to the PGA show in Florida, and we also do about 3 or 4 travel shows. So Michigan, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Toronto. We're going to do Rochester, New York this year, because I think we have a little bit of pull, having spent some time up there. But I mean, that's spending a weekend, 4 or 5 days, basically trying to get people to come to the Mahoning
Okay.
Valley and play. A large component of what we do is based on people that are traveling in, so we want to fill the hotels, we want to fill the restaurants, and we want to have them come down here, because it's very inexpensive to spend a weekend
Sure,
here
yeah.
in the Mahoning Valley.
It's pretty neat though when you're talking about, you really embraced as a golf course that Metro Park philosophy. You're talking about families, you're talking about doing stuff.
Yeah.
And is that an advantage to be a part of that huge? I mean, Mill Creek Metro
Right.
Parks is a huge
Yeah.
organization. You know, is that an advantage for you?
Number one, it's an awesome organization to work with, and probably out of all the jobs I've had, and I've had some really good ones, probably my most favorite one. But I think from a marketing and promotional background, I think we have the opportunity to bank on people traveling in to do some recreation. We have a number of people that will come here to do hikes and whatnot that pop in and like, oh, you guys have a golf course here. Oh, you have a restaurant here, the whole 9 yards. And I think that that's where we, are lucky to have that as part of our background.
For sure.
Who's the most famous golfer you've met?
Famous.
Have you
golfer
met them
I've
all,
met-
or have you met some of them?
I've met quite a few. A lot of people on the PGA Tour.
Okay.
I had Tiger, Phil,
Okay.
Matt Kuchar, Snedeker. Back when I played with Bridgestone equipment and stuff, they were very apt on basically getting me introduced to their pros. David Farady's another one of those guys.
Have you had
who
the
does
opportunity to golf with any of them?
I have not.
Okay.
To be honest with you, in this business, if you get an opportunity to play a lot of golf, you're really not doing your job. So I think if we get the opportunity to play every other week or once a week, it's a
Yeah.
lot because there's so many moving parts.
We've
here.
heard that. We
Yeah.
have some friends who are golf pros, and they say the same thing. Like,
Yeah.
I'm lucky if I golf once a month.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
We were actually on the course. I don't know if you know. I'm sure you know him. Chris Carfani is a Pine
Absolutely.
Lakes. He went to school with us.
Yep.
At
Very
Hubbard.
good friend.
And he was talking to his wife on the phone and saying how much fun he was having just golfing with his buddies.
Yes.
Do you ever get out? Do you get
I
the?
do.
Do you always look at it as a job, or do you still enjoy golfing?
I really enjoy golf, and I really enjoy bringing people to the table, bringing people to the game, getting people acclimated with the game. And I think, but between that, merchandising, tournament operations, overseeing food and beverage,
Yeah.
the rec department, it's sometimes you're doing that more than you're playing golf. But I do get out with my friends. They usually come up. We meet up in the fall.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go out and play 18 holes. Go have a steak dinner somewhere. But it's still fun.
When's the last time you golfed for enjoyment?
The last time I golfed for enjoyment, probably about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
not bad.
I
What
tried-
did you shoot?
I shot, I played twice in the past month, shot 70, 77. So,
Okay.
I mean, for me, that's pretty good. Breaking
Yeah.
80s where I want to be. Breaking 75 is even better, but not as good as I used to be just because I don't have the time and the
Right.
effort to put in. And I've got a 6-year-old and a wife that,
Priorities change.
absolutely. And it's nothing, against them. I mean, I get them out as much as I can. I played take Preston down to the par 3 and walk around with him. And, if I'm playing here, my wife and kid are with me. We're trying to catch a couple holes here or there, but trying to get them acclimated with the game. And again, I want my son acclimated with as many sports as he can. Pick which one he likes. Just doesn't have to pick golf because Dad likes it. Because I like a myriad of sports and just a sports junkie altogether. But just having an opportunity, I think, is really big, and giving people opportunities is big.
Okay.
Well, we appreciate you having us out here. You're probably our first interview that we didn't know somebody. We picked a lot of our first interviews, guys we hung out with, guys we knew.
We're Hubbard people too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
So we appreciate you, and the course looks great.
Yeah.
And you guys do a great thing for our valley, and I know
It sounds like you guys got a lot planned to even improve the course and
Yeah.
improve the clubhouse and.
We do. We've got a couple more things that are coming. We just did the pro shop renovation last year. Really dressed that up, trying to keep it historic and a lot of history here, just based on how old our facility is. Trying to basically take the 90 years that we've had and try to give those 90 years to the next generation or generations to come. So
Which is awesome.
We're cognizant of that, but I can't appreciate you guys enough for coming here. Love talking golf. Love talking sports.
Well, Brian,
we were a little
always-
concerned with our last segment.
We always end our show with something called the shot clock. It's a
Okay.
35-second rapid fire questions. Brian reads you questions and he'll give you options. So usually, Brian's on that line.
Yeah, but we're not going to do that
But
with
we're not
you.
going to do that to you. But I'm sure he's got some interesting ones for you. So
Perfect.
answer them the best that you can.
We got 35 seconds. He'll tell us when we're done. I'm just going to go through them. You answer them as honestly can, and we're going to let you pass. We have
we'll
we
let
have
you
enough for
pass.
If you don't want to answer, you tell me when we're ready.
Are we
Coach.
ready?
I'm ready.
Go ahead.
All right, one weekend. Who do you have, Tiger or Jack?
Jack.
Okay, best way to cheat: shave a stroke or foot wedge into the fairway.
Foot wedge into the fairway.
Most annoying pro: Phil Mickelson or Phil Mickelson.
Foot Mickelson.
Best dressed but worst golfers: doctors or lawyers.
Boy, that's a coin flip. We'll go lawyers on that one.
Worst cliche, never up, never in, or hit a house?
Hit a house.
Okay. Which one do you secretly talk about, the club thrower or the dude that has a poker chip for a ball marker?
The club chucker. It's all about how far you can throw it.
All right. Most irritating talker, the guy who makes an excuse on every hole or the guy who repeats every line of Caddyshack?
I'll tell you what, I like Caddyshack, so I'm going to go with the opposite there.
One more question.
All right, last one. This is probably the worst one. Worst beer cart behavior, grabbing 5 beers at a time or flirting with a girl that's 30 years younger than you?
A bit of both.
All right, well, there we got it. Brian Toner was with us. Thanks for spending time with us. I know you're
Absolutely.
very busy, so we appreciate it.
We're going to go tear up your golf course a little.
Anytime.
That's episode 4, Full Court
Yep.
Press. We'll see you in a
Yes.
couple weeks, 2 weeks on Friday.
Yep.
All right, thanks,
Thank you.
Brian.
Thank you.